Scott Studio.
Hey, what's up, everybody? George here from Scott Studio. Hey, thanks for joining me here on YouTube. Today we are doing a tutorial on church talk music. In other words, what to do in between a transition of a song. Perhaps the praise and worship leader is giving an exhortation to the congregation. You're accompanying, announcements. Perhaps you are trying to find something to play as the pastor begins his sermon. So just some simple backup talk music is what we're going to be doing today. Before we get started, if you have not subscribed to this channel, do me a favor right below your screen. Hit the subscription button below. Make sure you like and share with those who are musicians who may also need this help as they're playing for their congregation. All right, thank you so much. All right, we're going to be doing this tutorial in the key of C, okay? And the C chord is C, E, and G, okay? And we're going to be using different inversions of that chord. So we have C, E, and G. We have E, G, C. And we have G, C, and E, okay? And then those repeat. Okay, and the left hand, the only notes we're going to be playing is simply C. Okay, and if you don't know where those are, there's always to the left of the two black keys. Okay, every time you are right to the left of these two black keys, you are hitting a C. Okay, now what I would advise you to do is, if you are not playing something like organ, I would, if you're playing E piano or just piano, I would put a pad, string, synth, something under your keys, okay? Because the idea of the talk music is to accompany what the person is saying, not distract from what the person is saying, okay? So this is not really the moment to show off how many chords I can play in 30 seconds. This is more of I'm just backing up what the person is saying and giving some type of accompaniment to that moment, okay? So I will put a pad or a synth or something under piano. Right now we have strings under just regular grand piano, okay? Now, the first chord I usually go to is what you call an F minor 6 chord, okay? Now, C is my bass. My C chord is my bass, my home bass. That's what I'm going to always come back to, okay? So I'm starting with C, and then I'm going to go to an F minor 6, okay? So we have F, A flat, D, and F. We stay with C in the bottom. Okay. All right. So all I'm doing is going back and forth between those chords. Now what I'll do is I will use inversions of that F minor 6 chord, okay? Okay? I'll use inversions, and then I'll also use what you call arpeggios. So I'm just scrolling out those same notes and doing it slowly. So I'm basically dragging out the F minor 6. So I'm just going to show you. So you have. Okay. All right. Something else you can do is, when you're playing the C chord, you can also do a C with an add 9. And what that simply means is, you know how you have the scale, you have 8 notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The ninth note is D, okay? So if I put in a 9, I'm basically playing C, D, and E with a G, Okay, that is a C add 9. Okay, now with the F minor 6 chord, I can also put in a C with it. Okay, so I have okay, adds a little bit more sting to those chords. Okay, now something else you can do is to add a chord in between the C chord and the F minor 6 chord. Okay, and all I'm going to add is a C7 chord. What that simply means is I'm starting with my home bass, which is my C chord still, and I'm going to move this finger to B flat. And that gives me a C7, and then I'm still going to go to the F minor 6. Okay? Okay? And like I said, you can use any inversion of that as well. So here I had this inversion. I can always move it around as long as I still have my B flat, E, and G intact. It's still a C7. Okay. Now let's talk about when they start clapping. Okay. Perhaps you're accompanying softly and they start to clap, all right, which means it gets louder in the room. So naturally you want to play louder, okay? All you need to do, one, is to swell on your keys. So you're crescendoing on your keys. As long as your keyboard is touch sensitive or you're at a piano or some sort, you should be able to do this, okay? So you have, they start clapping. Okay, and again, the idea is at that point you can add a little bit more because they're clapping, but as the clap comes down, so does your key volume and what you're doing on the keys. That also comes down, okay? So you got to be really sensitive to what's happening in the room. Make sure you know the temperature of the room, okay? Okay. Now, one other trick that I will do sometimes is instead of going from the C7 to F minor 6 chord, I'll go from C to B flat. So perhaps this is kind of in between. They're not quite ready to shout yet, but it's not quite quiet either. Kind of in between. All right. I'll have the C major chord, and then I'll go to B flat chord, which is B flat, D, and F. Okay, and perhaps I'll scroll a little bit there. Okay, or say, you know, it is really amped up and they're clapping. Maybe I'll do movement here in the C's where I'm just going back and forth like this. Okay. And then once they come back down, then I go back to that F minor 6. Okay? If they don't come back down, you may end up, there. Of course, but there is a tutorial on preaching chords, so there is a tutorial where I break that apart, but you may end up there as well. So the biggest thing is being able to determine the temperature of the room and follow whoever's at that pulpit or at the mic at the time, okay? But like I said earlier, have a pad under your keys, okay? Your idea is to accompany, not distract, okay? So you don't have to do a whole lot of flowery things. The idea is to accompany the moment, okay, that is occurring at the church at the time, okay, or at the event, okay? All right, I hope that was helpful for you. Again, George here from Scott Studio. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. We also have a channel entitled Now Worship that has piano and strings music, which has traditional hymns, some gospel, some CCM up there of songs, just music accompaniment for prayer, altar ministry, daily task, your moment of peace, oasis, whatever you need it for, it's available. So that link is also down in your description below. So if that interests you, make sure you click that link and check that channel out. All right, again, George here from Scott Studio. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.
Scott Studio.